Hi, I'm Sam Norman and you're watching Book Zone, and I'm going to be speaking to William Leith about his memoir Bits of Me Are Falling Apart, which is a sort of sequel, isn't it, to your very successful The Hungry Years?
Yes, it is. The Hungry Years is all about overconsumption, binging, and this...
Your overconsumption.
Absolutely. Well, it starts off with my overconsumption, and it becomes a little bit reflective, and there's quite a lot about the overconsumption of the world as a whole. Something I became fascinated in when I took a look at myself, and I thought, you know, I am overeating, drinking too much, buying too much, you know, taking drugs, everything that was around me I was over-consuming, and I think that a conclusion I came to was that we live in a world that encourages us to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, economic growth depends on it, and so that's the sort of central problem that everybody faces.
So have you stopped?
Largely, yes. I mean, what happened to me, and the wellspring for the book, the springboard, the thing that started it off, was I woke up one morning and did the thing I always did, which was chuck some toast in the toaster, pop it up before it's done and put some more in, and eat about 5 or 6 slices of toast, heavily buttered. And still felt hungry and thought, oh my God, and then put it out of my mind for a matter of moments. But then I realised I couldn't really put this out of my mind, because that was the day that I was flying to New York to interview a diet doctor. And he was called Dr. Atkins, and he was, I didn't know this, but he was not long, but he didn't have long to live. You know, 4 to 5 days later, he would slip on some ice and fall over, crack his head, and then go into a coma and die. So, so I was going over to interview this guy, and I was really overweight, and this fact that I had to get in a taxi, go to the airport, get on a plane, go to New York, and then interview this guy meant that for once I had to think about my overconsumption. I couldn't just put it out of my mind and then 2 hours later go and buy a Mars bar and a sandwich and end up in a bar till 2 in the morning, sort of mindlessly. I actually was thinking all the time, oh, I'm going to see a diet doctor, what am I going to ask him? Oh dear, what am I doing? And for hours and hours I had to think about this, and so I thought, funnily enough, this is the first time for ages that I've thought about this. And by the time I got to him, I'd sort of become obsessed with it. And I went to, just going to the airport, there I am in a taxi, and I get to Paddington Station, and I realise that there are sort of 3 or 4 snack points before I even get to the train that takes me to Heathrow. And then I get to Heathrow, and there are all these kind of travelators and more snack points and different types of carbohydrates one can buy before getting on the plane. And then on the plane, the first thing somebody does is say, do you want some pretzels, or do you want... and then you have this sort of mushy food, and people coming around with ice creams, and
we digress.
We're digressing here,
I'd quite like to talk about your book. And your forthcoming Bits of Me Are Falling Apart. Now, you mine a very dangerous scene, don't you, William?
Do I?
Well, you do, rather. It's your own personal neuroses and angst.
That's right, yeah. It's
very honest.
Well, the thing is, I was feeling exactly like that, so that's what I wrote about. I woke up one morning, and I realised that my life felt quite bad. Lots of things had gone wrong, and I remember waking up and looking out of the window, and when you're feeling down, the sky always looks kind of terrifying, whatever colour it is. You know, if it's bright blue, it's kind of, oh dear, I want to hide, and if it's bruised and cloudy, it's, as you say, leaden. And this was kind of streaky, and I looked up, and there were bright bits, and there were sort of dark bits, and I saw a sort of shoal of floaters moving across it in my eyes. You know how as you get older, if you look up to the sky, you can see
Too quickly.
these little bits that are floating around, and I suddenly thought, of course, you know, actually bits of me are sort of breaking off in my eye, and so I thought, oh my God, this is I'm middle-aged. I've had the bit of my life that would have been all of my life if I'd been in the Stone Age. I'd have been dead by now. This is the, like, living in captivity. This is the add-on, and you know, the best bit's gone. From now on, it's decline in lots of ways, physical and mental.
Do you really think that?
Well, I mean, look at older people and then look at younger people, and yes, I do. I mean, because I'm going to die, and because I've had more than half my life.
Well, I look forward to it.
Well, thank you very much.
And anything else that you think of.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I was talking to William Leith about Bits of Me Falling Apart, which is published by Bloomsbury.